Watch Who?
Hello and welcome to Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Yep, watching for the very first time.
Very first time.
Yay, it's back. Concept explained. And you join us, listener, here in this, well, where are we? Is this no man's land? This sort of rocky, hilly... Oh my god! There's explosions! Get down! Get down! Get down!
I wonder what the hell you were doing!
Okay, it's over.
I thought you were just absolutely losing the plot there. I honestly thought I was watching you have a breakdown.
It's bombs everywhere in no man's land. It's very dangerous.
Screaming at me.
It was an emergency.
Oh my God.
Okay, fine. They've gone now. Okay, we can set up here. We can record here. It's fine. It's no man's land. It's neutral. Sorry, I didn't mean to
my God.
shock
I genuinely
you.
thought you were having like some weird breakdown.
No.
You're like, oh my God.
Anyway, so
I think we need to put a trigger warning on this. Sudden movements or something.
Well, I'm just recreating the moments of this week's story, the War Games.
Of course you are.
That's what happens.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and it's an epic story this week. Well, it's a 10-episode story. We're just talking about episodes 1 to 5 at the moment.
Yeah.
You haven't watched past episode 5 yet.
No, we've just watched episode 5.
We've literally just watched episode 5. Like Dalek's Master Plan, we thought we'd break it down a bit with these longer stories.
Break it down.
Because 10 is a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't do it.
You've done quite well. We've had so many 6-parters this season. I'm sort of used to them now.
Are you?
No, are you?
No. I'm never used to them.
And also...
I have to break them down when I'm watching, so...
This is the 50th Doctor Who story that we're talking about.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like 50 stories. Well, it's not like we've actually finished this one yet. So at the end of this one...
Yeah, but there's more... That's
we
more...
would have done 50 stories.
How many episodes is that?
I don't know how many episodes, but it's 50 stories.
Fuck my life. I never thought we... Like, gosh. Because I was thinking the other day, we must be coming up to 100 of our episodes soonish.
No.
Well, if we've done 50 and we've done some
like 60.
Dosters.
This is like 60.
Okay, so nearly.
So yeah, I don't really know what you think about this one yet.
No, you don't.
And I think everyone is probably very excited to hear what you think about this one, because it is a big story. It's a well-known story.
This is the last story. I'm just going to say now.
Sorry.
Not like forever. Like, I mean, this is last of this season. I know it. I feel it. I know it.
Okay.
It's 10.
I'm trying to keep Sarah spoiler-free, everybody.
Yeah, I feel it, because
it's 10 episodes, it's epic.
It's epic,
yeah.
It's 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And I said to you, like, a few ago, like, I know the end is coming. I don't know when. And I thought about it halfway through this. I was like, I think this is the last one of this season. I mean, 10 weeks to the end of a season, because that's what it would have been, you know, that feels like this is the final story.
Okay, well, I know this one quite well. I had it on video. This is another market video, actually.
Aww.
And you had part 1 and part 2, like 5 and 5.
Like we're doing.
Yeah.
Just like us.
two
If you're watching it on
tapes.
VHS.
Yeah. Switch your tape over at the end of this episode. So yeah, I definitely got this from the market. And it reminds me of sort of school half term. You sort of went to town and got a video for the, you know, stayed in and ate donuts and that was my half term, and watched it like hot, like summer.
Yeah.
Like a hot summer where you shut
like
the curtains.
Here now.
Yeah, but you shut the curtains and watch in the daytime. Like you shut the summer out. You don't go outside in the sun.
That also feels
in.
Like now.
Yeah, you stay in and watch black and white TV.
Okay, first of all, this is where we have very different childhoods. I was out all the time. There was no staying in the summer.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know. I didn't just stay in and watch
You're
TV.
You're ginger though, so you burn.
But I don't know. I just remember like
I've seen you burn.
Like, I would watch a video, and my brother would have a video, or we'd watch like Red Dwarf. Like my mum used to love Red Dwarf a lot. Like,
great.
because my older brother watched it, and then I watched it. I probably wasn't allowed. Then my mum got into Red Dwarf, like, really weirdly. She was like, because even to the point where one Easter, instead of Easter eggs, we got Red Dwarf hat and a T-shirt and a badge each. It was like proper Red Dwarf. So in the half term,
Red Dwarf was a big thing.
It was like a family will watch Red Dwarf.
It was a big thing, like, on the TV in the 90s.
Yeah, it was. But I was a bit young. I was probably a bit young when it first.
I've said this before. I was the only girl in the village. We said this, haven't we?
No.
Have we never talked about this? I was the only girl in my village. So, of my age, I was the only girl, and everyone else was boys. Right. So, like, I either stayed in or I hung out with the boys, you know.
Okay.
So I did football, like all the sports.
Yeah.
I did fishing. I didn't do fishing for long. Wasn't very good at it. Golf, I didn't do for very long.
Sorry.
No, that's up there with Liverpool. That statement.
I used to fish. I used to fish all the time. We'll talk about fishing another day.
I used to fish all the time. Is this like you used to watch Liverpool all the time?
No, I definitely fit. Anyway, we'll talk about fishing some other time.
So no, I was the only girl. So sometimes we'd do like rounders. One of the lads, his brother had Red Dwarf. VHS. I said DVDs then, but it was definitely VHS. So we used to watch Red Dwarf as well, around like 7 or 8. So I have a very big soft spot for Red Dwarf, because I do remember like when it was raining and being in, and we would watch Red Dwarf.
Oh wow. Yeah, so that's why, back to the war game, sorry, that's why it's around that time I'd watch the war games on video and then watch Red Dwarf. Yeah. Maybe. So should we go through the story then, and as things come up, as usual, as I always say.
And then get diverted,
we'll see. Yeah, so we start off, Jamie, Zoe and the Doctor land in this and get bombed, like we did.
I thought Mark was having a moment,
and we go straight into the action in this one, which I really like, because we meet Lady Jennifer pretty quickly in the ambulance.
Sorry, I'm still remembering you screaming at me.
Sorry, I didn't mean to, like, startle you.
Sorry, it's your face.
Sorry, I didn't...
Flashbacks. Trauma right now.
It's probably good that everybody doesn't get my face when we're doing this. Only you get my face. I do make some strange faces when we're talking. But we're straight in the action there. So what are you thinking? Are you thinking this is a historical story? Or... Because that first episode... let's just talk about the whole first episode. Yeah. They're captured... Well, they're not. They have this... They go off.
I didn't think it was historical.
But why not?
Because there's a guy with like a pair of glasses on that can brainwash people.
That's the first clue you get, isn't it?
Yeah.
With
so that's
General
like...
Smythe and his glasses. But then you do see that video screen, but a bit later on. Just at the beginning, are you thinking?
At the beginning, yes.
What are you thinking?
But of the first episode, like, you have him doing his brainwashing, and I was like, that's interesting. So I didn't feel like he was the villain of this story, but he had power of something, you know, to be able to do that, and skills. Before that, you have all the trenches, and you've got the great location work on that, and it looks really good. And watching that, I was just thinking, this is why Doctor Who is really great, because a couple of weeks ago we had Varna with her silver cape going in with the Crotons, and then you get this very sort of harsh reality. I mean, it's done really well. You could be watching like some war film or something at the beginning. It's really good. But also, it's the BBC. And obviously you go in studio in the trenches and stuff, but it's still done very well. It's done really well. And in terms of like the set, again, this is another reason why I feel like this is the last story, because not only that it's 10, but the game is so much bigger. Like everyone, like everything's upped, you know. So that first the epic set, scale of it, everything, the scale of it, it's up. So I feel like, I know he's going out soon, so it's going out with a bang. Okay. I really like that first episode, because you don't know necessarily what's going to be happening later on. And Smythe is a great villain, even if he's not like a main villain. He's a good character.
I was asleep, Captain Ransom. You did not wish to disturb me.
Yes, sir, you were asleep. I didn't wish to disturb you.
I think all the villains are great.
Yeah. And you got Carstairs and Lady Jennifer. I think they're really good. Yeah. So here's something, right? I'm already going to jump ahead. Okay. So we know that they're
people from different wars all in like different zones, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So they're fighting. We don't know why yet, really, other than, do we? Like, I'm at the end of 5 here, so I don't know.
You've got
like,
different time zones, different wars.
yeah,
From
I don't know
human
like the
history, right.
reasons for it,
Okay,
but I know
yeah.
that's
Right,
happening. Yeah. Why did they bring the medic with them? Like the hospital lady. Was it to make it feel more like a war? As in,
I think
can't
it's
think
just
what the
sort of
reasoning would
snapshots
be.
of different. It's like we're recreating these wars.
Okay, I say yeah. So they've brought people
So
from.
they've brought people. They've just scooped them up, I think, and just
I see.
put them in. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. That was.
So you got a bit of everything.
It wasn't until the 5th one where I was like,
It's a good point, though. Actually, I've never thought of that.
"That's why I'm here." Yeah, because everyone is a soldier.
Well, you only see. Yeah, I mean,
I wondered whether it was like
suppose.
just sort of like, well, so far everyone we've seen is a soldier.
Yeah, apart from Lady Jennifer. Yeah, no, that's
Apart
true.
from her.
That's true.
And
You
I
get
don't
the
know whether they
ambulance.
had her in as like so it was an all male to balance.
Maybe.
The last time we had something similar that was all male was the London Yeti.
We had Anne.
But that's what I mean. We had Anne, so she was the one
okay.
like
So yeah, Lady Jennifer is the Anne
of this.
the War Games.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're great. They're great characters, and they
Yes.
side with the Dr. Jamie and Zoe pretty quickly. So you need some characters that are
Yeah.
on their side, because it did get a little bit. Of course you're going to have your spies. You're going to be court-martialed and everything.
And that's
that
the
does
worst
happen
part
again
of
and
this
again.
story. Yeah, that's
but
the worst
the first
part.
lot is quite interesting because it's very quickly, and you know Smythe is up to something. You have this tribunal really quickly, and it's all, you got Carstairs and Jennifer there as well, and the other sergeant
Yeah.
and everybody there, and it's all just quickly, and it doesn't make sense. They're not being fair and everything, which does remind me of when I went up against Cardiff Council against doing that licence for work. That's exactly what it was. So
Well, you sat
had
there
a
thinking of
hearing.
the War Games. Yeah, I remember the hearing.
There was this hearing just to get the licence sorted out, but
Yeah, Mark wasn't
basically,
on trial.
I
just
wasn't
to
on
be
trial. I wasn't on trial, but I had to get the license sorted out. And then there was like like 200 signatures of all the local residents against it. So it was like local residents against us, and we had to go on. And it was a table with these people in front of us. We're the other side, and we had to say. And that's what it reminded me of. It was a very quick tribunal like that as well.
So-
and also related to that,
Go on.
are you going to say
No, go on.
Because there was this councillor that was against us.
Oh,
I won't name any names, but she was really horrible. She was like, she was proper up against us. To the fact where even in the breaks, like the residents who were up against us, we were chatting and being friendly and stuff. She wouldn't even talk to us, this councillor. She was so horrible. And I accidentally recommended you to vote for her in the local council.
Yeah.
I got the names wrong and you voted for her.
Yeah, because it was my local
I
area.
was like, no, don't vote for her. I was told you the wrong one.
Well, I've done it now. The vote's
But
in.
anyway, that's what it was like.
No, I was going to say you came back from that meeting like shell shocked.
Well, yeah, because we won.
But you
they were
literally
like-
you didn't say anything. You just sat there like, oh.
It was really scary because you had to talk, and they were there and they just looked down. They're like, right, we've made the decision in favour of, and it was us.
Yeah.
But I didn't really hear it, and I was like, and they were like, yeah, you've won, you can go. I was like, okay.
You didn't say anything.
There was
It's so
this
funny.
huge thing against us, and we
Yeah.
still won. Couldn't
Yeah.
believe it.
Takes a lot.
Yeah, we had General Smythe on our side there, hypnotising everyone. There was this huge amount of people
Yeah.
against us. Anyway.
Guilty as charged.
And yet they're guilty, and then the Doctor's going to get shot at the end of episode 1. And that's when it starts to... It's still interesting, but then there's a lot of captured back and forth, and it just keeps going. Because then I think it's the Germans, and then it happens with the Germans, and there's slight variations.
So that's episode 2
but
that
when
happens.
it goes on again. But I suppose the reason they're doing that is because you need to find out there's other zones,
It happens
and you need
quickly,
to know
though.
that everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah. But
you see what I mean.
It happens because you get like 2 in a row. So I'm glad that it all happens quickly, but because it happens quickly and it's basically the same thing, you're a bit like, oh my gosh, is this what it's like? For me, if I was watching this, I'm sure then, where you don't know what each week is, I know that this is going to be 10 episodes. So I was like, oh my gosh, is this just going to be a theme that every single time they go somewhere this happens, this exact same dialogue to pad out 10 weeks?
So when Smythe you see this TARDIS-like thing, well, it makes the TARDIS noise. Are you like, is that intriguing for you? Is that...
I didn't clock it.
Oh, right, okay.
No, I didn't clock it until episode 5 that they had something like a TARDIS.
Oh, because it does land in episode 2 and he gets in it and goes off. That's what
I didn't see it as like a landing thing. I thought it was... I missed that. I saw it as like just being there.
Okay.
And so I didn't hear... I heard a noise, but I mean, we hear lots of noises that are supposed to sound futury. And it's not exactly like the TARDIS.
It's the TARDIS noise.
Is it?
Yeah.
Even then in episode 5?
Yeah, they're all the time. It's the same noise.
No way.
It's the same noise.
I thought it was like just slightly different.
Okay.
Like, if a TARDIS is woo, 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 like that.
It doesn't make that noise.
If you make a TARDIS noise, it's really hard. No, there's more noise to it. There's more like...
It doesn't wail.
It wails. The TARDIS wails.
No, okay.
Wow.
No.
Mark, that's our clip of this episode.
They make the same noise.
Just for reference, we're now going to play the TARDIS noise.
Okay, well, it doesn't wail.
It's not whatever you were doing.
Anyway, in the book, then, these machines, in the Target book, they're called Sidrats, apparently.
Right.
Space and intertime dimensional robot all-purpose transporter.
Oh.
Which is TARDIS backwards. So,
So, who wrote this story?
Terrance Dicks and Malcolm Hulke.
Oh, 2 people. Have they done stories before?
I don't think so.
Sorry, I've put you on the spot.
I don't think so. Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay.
They're coming in a bit new.
Cool. It's good. It's good. It's a nice, fresh change of direction.
Well, you still have the historical stuff, and you've got a bit of sci-fi as well. It's a good mix. We haven't had a mix. We've had one or the other, or...
Yeah.
Well, we also have Jamie then gets split up. He meets a redcoat.
Redcoat? What are you doing here? Highlander.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
To see him in the redcoat back on the
I liked
Highlanders.
there's a dialogue where he says something like, "Are you British?" He goes, "No, I'm Scottish," or something like that. It was funny.
So you got the Doctor and Zoe are off together, and then the Doctor pretends to be this examiner with all the Germans and everything. They're sort of trying to rescue each other, and it goes again back and forth, back and forth. Jennifer and Carstairs are still there. They're our team. They're our supporting team for this story.
Yeah.
I love Jennifer and Carstairs. Supporting characters, up for a Oscar possibly.
Maybe.
Not impressed?
I mean, they're fine. They're good.
And that they believe because they see the video screen and everything. And I like that gang. My favourite bit so far is the gang of them in the ambulance. Off they go between time zones.
Yeah.
And they're investigating. And
That
you
was
don't
cool.
know where they're going to end up next.
No.
And that's where we see the Romans. Which
And
is
also,
fun.
we're sort of learning it because it's when they cross over the line and then they find the
it's
map.
not until you see, you have the map.
And that's like
and
the
then
third episode?
End of episode 2 is where the Romans are
there we are.
charging towards them.
Yeah.
And that's when you realise something. Because before, actually, you could have had it's the German side and the...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You don't actually know that it's different time zones
Yeah.
until he finds that map. And then you're like, okay, this is part of a bigger thing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really exciting. I think you can get that map on Redbubble, actually. I might get that map.
Of course you will.
Well, what do you think when you saw the Romans?
I mean, yeah, it was nuts.
So it's keeping your interest.
Yeah, you're trying to work it out, and I like the ones where you're working it out with them, but you have just a bit more information than they do.
Because you don't see any sci-fi stuff until a bit later. I mean, you see Smythe
With his
sort of
glasses.
close up, looking in some space. You don't see everything else until a little bit later on.
I think it's like third, isn't it?
3 or 4, a bit
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
You get the sonic screwdriver again with the Germans.
Yeah.
It's worth noting.
I like that scene. I really like that scene where he does the screw with the gun.
Yeah, when it's explained. And then you notice there's the German version of a Smythe, the guy with the monocle. So then you're learning, again, it's building the picture.
It does it really well.
You've got leaders in different... but they've all got this video screen thing. And then we see the War Chief.
Yeah.
Which is the George Michael one.
So that's the one you said looks like George Michael.
He's got the medallion.
Yeah.
He does look like George Michael. He does.
He does
Everyone
a bit,
will
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
You didn't agree, but...
No, I agreed as it went on. Just initial. Also, when you said it, I didn't have my glasses on.
Okay.
So my eyes needed to adjust to the George Michael.
We're going to call him George Michael from now on, the war chief. And we're in then we meet the American Civil War. I mean, budget-wise on this, I know it's 10 episodes, but you're
There's a
going
lot of
from
extras.
set piece to set piece, a lot of location filming. And it's sort of going back again, education, you're learning about the different wars in a way, I suppose. I don't know, if you like your history,
But it's not overload. It's not overkill.
No,
it's not like when they do a historical and you're like...
Although it would have been, if you got all the different zones, imagine if they'd gone back and visited stories before, so they could have had the Crusades.
Probably the same costumes somewhere.
With that lot. What other wars have we had so far? You could have gone back to...
Not that many wars, have we?
Well, the
Not
Crusade.
for
Well, you could have
historical.
done the Highlanders with the red coats, and you could have
Yes,
seen
you could have had
Kirsty
that
there.
one.
You could have had Kirsty scooped up and helping out Lady Jennifer.
I wonder, are any of the extras, have they been in it before?
No. My favourite cliffhanger so far is the end of episode 3, where the Doctor and Zoe go off in this, we'll call it a sidrat, and Jamie's left behind. And he's like, oh no. And that feels like a really big moment.
Yeah.
Because they're actually split up where they can't actually get back all that we know of. So Jamie's has his own bit. He's got a lot more to do. What are you thinking about Jamie and Zoe in this?
I mean, this is Jamie at his strengths right now.
I feel like he's gone back up again. He's really part of the story in this now.
He's
where
not
he
just like
hasn't
in
been.
some future... I mean, like, to some extent, he understands war, I guess you could say. So, and he's used to meeting lots of different people and having to explain and having to get them on his side. So, like... Yeah, in terms of the split, it makes sense that Doctor and Zoe go off and do the really future techie stuff and Jamie's with the people.
Yeah, it does. And with Lady Jennifer, and that's a good team. Clothes watch a minute.
Right.
When they land, Zoe's in her trench coat and everything already. It's a good job she ain't in a sparkly catsuit when she goes out in the trenches, wandering around World War One or
Can
Two,
you imagine?
even. All of that. Lucky she happened to be dressed sensibly for the first time.
Put her in a trench, just to be safe. Yeah.
And you're right that Jamie is sort of fits in with it, because he could just be another soldier that's been taken out of time. He fits in with that resistance because that's what he is anyway.
That's what he is, yeah.
So it's perfect for him, and it's perfect for Zoe to go off to the sciencey space place.
Yeah, absolutely. Plays
and
to all
help
their
the
strengths.
Doctor and be like, okay, what's happening here? And what do you think of the sets of the space place? It's all it's quite 60s, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it feels similar to the one that we had the other week. The one where they
Protons.
Yeah, the one... No, the one with the Mars people again.
Seas of Death.
Yes.
Right.
It felt very similar to that in terms of it being very circular, very sort of... If you took out the machines, the whatever they were called, what were they called? That got them to different planets.
Sidra.
T-Mat.
Oh, yeah,
The T-Mat. If you took the T-Mats out, that was a very similar set to what...
Well, they are, aren't they? Yeah, but I like the extra psychedelic colours, but
there's more of that.
There's more patterns and
but
stuff.
the general vibe felt very,
What about their
space.
glasses and stuff?
Glasses are weird.
It is odd, isn't it? I don't know what they're supposed to do, or you're a space person if you got your glasses.
Well, it's weird because the Doctor and Zoe also put the glasses on.
Well, it's because they're to fit in, because everyone else is wearing it as a disguise. And the guards are all. We've got our black PVC again. It's like greatest hits, isn't it? This story of everything, isn't it? You got greatest hits of the sci-fi sets, greatest hits of your historicals, and your black onesies. They look like the Robo-Men from the film, don't they?
I guess.
All in black with goggles.
Okay, fine.
It is a greatest hits, really.
Yeah.
And, your sonic screwdriver. You got the Doctor. Sorry, just going back when he pretends to be the examiner of the war thing.
He's
going back
it.
to when he was the examiner in Power of the Dark. Do you know what I mean? It's all. It feels. Thinking about it, I've never really thought about it this much before, but it is all your greatest hits of your last couple of seasons.
It's a good story. I mean, that's why I asked who the writers were, because, and if this is the first one, it's something that fans feel familiar with, but it's not like a repeat of.
I think one of them is the script editor at the moment as well. I think, or has been
the current series.
No, so, this one that we're watching,
Right.
yeah. Not the current series
Like,
now. Yes. They wrote the War Games and then wrote for the 13th Doctor.
Yeah, jump in time.
And then episode 4, we get more space stuff, less historical at the moment, don't we?
Yeah.
We focus, we shift on, and it's moving, it's keeping it interesting, at least. I don't know, I don't find it, a lot of people, I think, like the beginning and like the end of this story, but think the middle stuff is overly long. That's criticism, I think, from most fans.
I agree. Like, I said to you the middle bits where they're just walking around and I was getting a bit bored. All the, like, you know, the spacey talks, I was getting a bit bored. Like, I enjoy when things are happening. When they're, like, trying to, like, the resistance is trying to get through and the other side. I enjoyed when they were talking about what they were doing in the space, you know, when they've got the glasses on and Zoe and the Doctor have, like, snuck into, like, that talk. That sort of stuff. But when it's just like, I don't know, the space people talking about...
Okay, well, if it's the war chief...
Vagueness, yeah.
The war chief and then the security chief don't like each other.
Yeah.
I hate the security chief. He
don't
is
know
so
why.
annoying. Well, you've only seen him in episode 5 so far.
Yeah.
Wait till we get throughout the story. I don't know. I don't like the way he talks. He just gets on my nerves.
He reminds me of a
He's
Bond
like,
villain.
I will report you.
He reminds me of Snape and
yeah.
a Bond villain of the
The
60s.
War Lord.
We have given you every facility. If you have complaints, I suggest you take them to the War Lord.
He just talks like that all the time.
But I think he's supposed to be like a dramatic...
I don't know if that's his acting or his...
I didn't think it was that bad. It didn't like...
I can't believe you are on the side of the security chief. Out of all the characers we've ever met in the whole
Literally,
of
though,
Doctor
Mark.
Who,
He hadn't
I
even
cannot
come on the
believe-
screen and you went, I hate him. And I went, who? And I was like, oh, okay, why? God, we've had worse, Mark.
To the War Lord.
I don't think we have.
Are you joking? You saying we've not had worse? We had some frigging Mars people that didn't even have any voice to them. We've had the Yeti. We've had all that. We have had worse. I'm
The
sorry.
security chief.
What was his name?
Pad Mavamphazar.
Pad. We Pad. And he was definitely worse, was Pad. My gosh, don't tell me we've not had worse.
Okay.
I will
well,
not.
no, I am going to tell you about that. It's the security chief.
No, I refuse that.
Oh, well, wait till we get to the rest, the 6 to 10 then.
Well, maybe it'll like drain on me, but like right now, I've met him like for about 5 minutes on screen. I was like,
fine.
We've had worse.
Well, you can be friends with the security chief. I'll be friends with the war chief.
I find him much more intimidating and scary than the war chief.
Oh, you see, the war chief has got more things that he's less petty, you see. I think the security chief is very petty and wants power. And the war chief is above him,
oh my gosh, do you know what he is? He's, now we're going back to season 1, with Barbara and the...
That's not the Sensorite guy.
No. It's when they go back to the Aztecs.
Oh,
And there was that...
Oh, yes.
And there was that one guy who was really... the
Toxel.
Who was so needy and like, I don't like you.
Yes, he's the Toxel.
He's the
security chief.
Toxel of this, yes. I didn't think he was that
I
needy.
can't believe you remembered the Toxel.
Well, I didn't remember the name. You remembered the name. I remembered the character. He had a really bad heart. That's what I remember.
Well, we'll see about that. Yeah, we'll see how it goes with that. But I'm on the war chief side at the moment, not the security chief.
Are you on the war chief's side, Mark? You heard it here, everyone. Mark is on the side of the war chief.
And we get a mention of the warlord.
Yes.
As the security chief
To the War Lord.
says. So that's, that's something to come, isn't it? The warlord.
Yeah.
There's another thing, another layer somewhere. Well, you need that in the long story.
If it's going to be 10, then yeah.
Going back to episode 4, though, Jamie gets on a horse. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
I couldn't remember it. I was shocked to see, actually. So he's.
I'm trying to. No, I don't remember him getting on a horse.
American Civil War bit. He runs away. I think he gets recaptured. He's running, and then there's a guy on a horse. He knocks him off the horse. Jamie gets on a horse and rides. I was like, Jamie on a horse.
I completely missed
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's like, yes, Jamie. What else? So you got the Resistance. Then these are the people that haven't been like.
Or have got out of the brainwash.
Have got out of the brainwashing.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of them from all these different zones. They've met up and they know Well, they don't exactly know what's going on, but they know something's not right, and they know that these guys with these video screens and these TARDIS things
Or whatever. What? Not TARDIS.
Sidrats.
I like the Resistance.
Yeah.
Like, there's some really, like, it's a real good mix of... I don't know who's who or anything, but
I know.
It's just a cool
I couldn't
mix.
tell you the character names at the moment.
No.
You said there was a Northern guy, English guy, and your
good.
cast theirs is with the Doctor and Zoe.
So I said
thought
to
you would.
I think that the Warlord...
To the Warlord.
Oh, Mark, get over it. He was not that bad.
He was. He was so bad.
It was not that.
Fine, I will just talk like the security chief for the rest of the podcast then.
Yeah, but you
You're gonna
don't do
get
a good
annoyed.
impression of security because it's not like this. You make him sound
That's
like...
what he does.
He's not like a robot.
He is.
It might get worse, but right now, in that first 5 minutes,
Okay.
he wasn't that robot-y. He was more like... Oh, but you should be doing something. Yeah, I don't know.
He wasn't. He was like this.
He reminds me of Snape. Like, if Snape from Harry Potter was a Bond villain, that is what he is.
I think you're putting him up on a pedestal
that is
there.
actually, hang on, that's Die Hard, isn't it? That's what he plays it like.
Die Hard.
I'm sure it's in Die Hard that he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Die Hard,
Okay.
like that character. So, I think, here's my prediction, that, and it's only because I know the Doctor is a Time Lord. This has never been mentioned before.
We haven't. The word Time Lord has not been mentioned at all.
No, but
before.
the War Doctor, I feel, is a Time Lord.
The War Chief.
The War Chief, sorry, or Doctor.
No, the Warlord. Sorry.
Warlord. God,
Hang
we've
on. Do you mean the War Chief or the Warlord?
The Warlord.
The one we haven't met yet.
Yeah, because he's the one that like can control time things, isn't he? They said that. He said. I remember
No,
that.
they're talking about the War Chief that was George Michael
Yeah.
has the knowledge. They said.
Oh, I thought
the
it was the
time zones.
Warlord. Sorry, I thought because he goes back and he goes like,
Oh
but
no,
he doesn't.
actually no. Sorry, I'm getting really confused.
He
The
says something
Warlord,
like,
yes,
but
the
he's the one that
Warlord,
came with all the
yes.
knowledge and stuff.
Yeah,
So
the
yeah,
Warlord.
we haven't met him, but whatever the Warlord is, it's the same as the Doctor. Like they,
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to know each other, but they're of the same place, time, skill set. Just one is obviously doing bad things to be a warlord, and the other is the Doctor. That's my like hypothesis. Like, but like, I mean, me if I was watching this in the 60s for the first time, I wouldn't put that together. As
no,
such, I think like they know each other, but obviously I don't know the word. I know the word Time Lord, but we haven't had any reference to the word Time Lord.
No, I think they've said that George Michael has the knowledge.
Right, okay. Whoever has the knowledge, whoever it is,
There's a lot of war people in there.
yeah, is the one that I think is from the same place or is a Time Lord like the Doctor.
So in episode 4, the War Chief and the Doctor, they do see each other. There's a moment.
Because it's interesting
So
that
I
he
don't know if
doesn't
you
want
saw
them
it.
killed. He learns little snippets and he's
there's
like,
a bit, I think it's in episode 4
he's
again.
like, no, I want to meet them.
Because there's a voiceover moment. I don't know if you remember that. The War Chief is like, well, I wonder.
Yeah.
When he hears about the Doctor and...
Yes.
So, yeah,
So
you're
there's-
right that there is a
There's
recognition
something.
there.
That's
Yes.
my like prediction for the future. It's a lot, but it's a good story. I'm not like against it.
I mean,
at
there is
all.
another 5.
Exactly. We're only halfway through, so I feel there's a lot to come in terms of like, gosh, they have to either get people back or stop it. They have to find out what's going on because as an audience, we still don't really know why they're doing it.
We don't know the plan or anything yet, no.
Yeah, so there's a lot still. It's hard to talk about it at this point. It's because okay, we can talk about what's happened, but I can't really say what's happening. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? There's still a lot of information we don't know.
Yeah. And the music, actually.
The music's good.
There's a...
And I also really liked...
No, 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 no.
I really liked the scene with...
Sorry.
I'm just going to keep talking.
But it's the same thing. It gets a bit repetitive.
Yeah, but apparently you like it.
Right,
I'm gonna keep talking.
No.
So I like... It's a big story and there's a lot to work out, more than any that we've had before, I'd say. I would say this is more than The Chase, which was 12.
The Daleks Master Plan.
The Daleks Master Plan, sorry. Do I mean that one?
No, you
which
do.
is the
Katerina, yeah.
one? No, I don't mean.
Yeah,
do
Dalek's Master Plan was Katerina, Sarah Kingdom.
Yes, I do mean that. Yeah.
The 12.
So I would.
But that was, sorry, which was like the chase, you are right. They're going from different place to place.
Yeah.
Which I suppose you've got a long story, you've got to have different sets, you've got to have different...
But
you
this
can have it in the
feels
same
like a
So
harder
this is a good
thing.
way of doing it, though,
Yeah.
because it's one long...
Yeah.
It's not like they
But
are
this feels
being
like a harder
chased.
mission.
Yes.
Whereas like the chase, it was. To
So
be
the
fair,
dark-
they
yeah.
were moving along, but they knew what their objective was.
Well, Dalek's Master Plan with the time destructor. and
Sorry,
everything.
I keep saying the chase.
Yeah.
I mean, the Darkness Master Plan. But they were figuring out, but
It was more simple, wasn't it?
It was. The goal was very simple. This, like...
There's so many different parts that need to come together.
I mean, we're not talking about one planet. We're not talking about one thing. We're talking about... I mean, there are so many extras. There are so many
all those
extras.
Romans
There's
things.
so many, like... people involved in this, whereas previously any big story, all right, they might bump into other people, it might be a big thing, like, you know, I mean, that was the universe, you know, it's a big thing, but we don't see the impact of that. This one feels a much bigger problem.
That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, do you know, like, because you're seeing
Just
the impact.
the scale is like
the scale.
all of these wars.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for you to watch the rest.
Great.
Yay!
But I do feel this is his last story.
Okay.
So I said it was coming. I've said it for like a few weeks. Like,
It's because you let me watch that documentary when you shouldn't have that mentioned it.
well, you put it on. Don't get angry at me, Mark. You put it on.
Well, we'll find out next week, won't we?
Yeah, we will.
Cool. Have anything else to add?
No, I've nothing to add at this point.
Yeah, okay. It's a little bit of a shorter one, actually. That's good. Next time, we will meet the Warlord. That's what he says. Okay. I bet we better go. You can follow us on Twitter at TwoWatchWho and Instagram as well at TwoWatchWho also. And you can support us at buymeacoffee.com/TwoWatchWho. And we'll see you next week. Oh, what's that noise? Is that the sound of a TARDIS? Or a Sidrat landing? It is!
Oh my
It's
God.
green box.
I'm sorry,
And the door's opening.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Are we getting in?
Well, maybe you should have a look in.
That sounds to be a Mark to a T. You should go and look
Go and have a
in.
look in it. Go and have a look in it.
Okay, I'm looking in.
Oh no! The door's shut! Sarah! Oh no!
Is this
Okay.
really how you're ending?
Well, that's what happened at the end of episode 3. I'm trying to recreate that moment.
What, by
You know, when
leaving
the Dr.
me?
Jamie went in and
yeah.
then,
Are we
and then
going to be in
Jamie's
different
like,
places
oh, no.
then next
Yeah,
week? Is that your plan?
We'll get you back next week.
Are we doing it online next week from different locations? Is that Mark's plan here?
Okay, right. We'll see everyone next week. I tried to do an outro.
Bye.
Bye.
To watch who?
To the Warlord.